few holdouts tried to stage a coup last night, but Donald Trump won the Republican Party's presidential nomination nonetheless.
He was put over the top by his children despite some last-minute objections. Doug Luzader live at the Convention Arena in Cleveland with more. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, and the theme today is going to be Make America First Again, which is a not-so-subtle dig at President Obama's leadership, but this is also about building up Donald Trump's image ahead of the November election.
The next president of the United States, Donald Trump, 48 votes.
As the state-by-state tally progressed, in the end, the GOP made sure it was the New York delegation and New York delegate Donald Trump Jr. who would put the nominee over the top.
Congratulations, Dad. We love you.
Trump addressed the crowd by video.
We will win in November. Thank you.
Trump's family is playing a major role here, trying to soften his image and move past Monday night's controversy, when Trump's wife Melania appeared to borrow passages from a 2008 Michelle Obama speech. And Trump's daughter Tiffany speaking of her father's support.
My dad is a natural-born encourager, the last person who will ever tell you to lower your sights or give up your dream.
There was also plenty of red meat for the Republican faithful, with former Trump rival Chris Christie firing broadsides at presumptive Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton.
As to Hillary Clinton lying to the American people about her selfish, awful judgment in making our secrets vulnerable, what's your verdict? Guilty or not guilty?
And a real test of party unity, as Speaker of the House Paul Ryan took the stage. Still clearly uncomfortable with Trump as the nominee, Ryan nonetheless made the case for winning the White House and keeping control of Congress.
Fellow Republicans, what we have begun here, let's see this thing through. Let's win this thing. Let's show America our best and nothing less. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, as far as what's on tap today, a number of speakers scheduled, but some former rivals will be certainly ones to watch today. Former rivals, but Senators Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, Scott Walker, Newt Gingrich, all scheduled to speak today. And of course, one of the big questions is whether Ted Cruz, for one, is going to actually endorse Donald Trump or just speak in generalities about the importance of Republicans winning the White House and keeping control of Congress. Tim and Lauren.
Thanks, Doug. So, you don't think Ted Cruz? Dr. Jeff Engel, director of the Center for Presidential History at SM, you don't think Ted Cruz is going to endorse Donald Trump, do you?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think that he's really trying to set himself up for 2020, much like Paul Ryan is trying to set himself up. So I think all these people want to leave the convention trying to alienate as few people as possible, which is interesting because that's exactly seems to be the opposite of what Donald Trump is trying to do. He's trying to alienate anyone who might like Hillary Clinton.
Right. The theme for last night was supposed to be jobs and the economy. They didn't exactly hit real hard on those themes.
No, there was actually very little mention of jobs at all. In fact, if you wanted to know what Donald Trump was going to do as a positive force for the economy, for the workforce, you really didn't hear much else besides we're going to attack Hillary Clinton. Right. She was really the theme of the night.
Right. As some speakers mentioning Hillary Clinton more than they did the name Donald Trump. And here's one of them.
So let's do something fun tonight. Tonight, as a former federal prosecutor, I welcome the opportunity to hold Hillary Rodham Clinton accountable for her performance and her character. Now,
chanting, lock her up, to the delight of Chris Christie. Is that the kind of thing that works in a campaign? The world is going to go to hell if Hillary Clinton is elected. It's going to be terrible. Is that a theme that historically has worked?
Historically, we have seen that a lot, but it doesn't really work a lot. Let me take you back to a good example from 1988, when George H.W. Bush ran as the vice president, trying to become the president, succeeding Ronald Reagan. Hillary Clinton, in a similar sense, is trying to succeed Barack Obama after 2 terms. The '88 campaign, the Democratic convention, was largely about George Bush, about his inadequacies. The famous phrase from Ted Kennedy saying, "Where was George? Where was George?" The crowd chanted, asking about Iran-Contra, asking about what George Bush did. it doesn't carry over, because at the end of the day, people are happy to yell and scream and critique their adversary, but voters want something positive. Voters want to know where the person's going to take them, not just that they're not the other person.
It's not the diehard Republicans or the diehard Democrats who are going to decide this, but a substantial number in the middle who really don't have loyalty to either party.
Yeah, we have to go out on a limb here and say that people within the convention center are already going to vote for the Republican Party.
Sure.
What we're trying to do is reach the broader middle of the electorate.
One speaker, and I found it kind of an odd moment, but one basically linking Hillary Clinton to the devil.
Now, one of the things that I have learned about Hillary Clinton is that one of her heroes, her mentors, was Saul Alinsky. Let me tell you something about Saul Alinsky. He wrote a book called Rules for Radicals. On the dedication page, it acknowledges Lucifer, the original radical who gained his own kingdom. So are we willing to elect someone as president who has as their role model somebody who acknowledges Lucifer? Think about that.
Probably a leap of logic.
You know, I like it, and I'll tell you why. Because if we're going to say the other side is bad, let's go all the way.
Right.
Let's
All right.
But in all honesty, the real problem is if I am an unemployed steelworker from Ohio,
Right.
or if I am somebody out of work and looking for a job, or I'm worried about the direction of the country, telling me that the other person is bad doesn't really tell me what I'm supposed to be doing is good. And we have to remember, we're talking about an election again in historical terms where both candidates are remarkably unpopular. So I think that they have a charge over the next 2 nights, they still have 2 nights to do it, to try to say, here's why our guy is actually better than you think.
And really quickly, as we wrap things up, we must mention the Trumpettes, because two of the Trump children paraded out there, and one in particular, Donald Jr., incredibly effective speaker. And I think there were probably a lot of people in that audience who are going, why didn't he run for president?
No, they did a really, really nice job. And one of the things that's fun about it is that we expect that political candidates will have families that come out and say, we love the candidate.
Great guy,
great dad. We sort of
right.
expect that. He went further. He actually went and actually gave some policy prescriptions, gave some thoughts.
Yeah, which we're still waiting for from his father.
Well, they have 2 more nights. 2 more nights, including one which is going to be really about Donald Trump, because he's going to speak. Though it's important to note, Donald Trump has now shown up at the first 2 nights of the convention, which is basically unprecedented.
Yeah, unheard of. Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
Okay. Well, he says he's going to break precedent. So.
He's doing a good job of that.
Thanks.